Howdy everyone, my name is James and this will be a series of me solving Leetcode questions, and today we'll be solving Leetcode 217 contains duplicates. Now personally, this is one of the easiest questions in Leetcode in my opinion, so let's get started. So given an array of integer nums, return true if any values appear at least twice in the array, and return false if every element is distinct. So to reiterate, the question is asking whether to return true if we see two or more elements within the array nums. Otherwise, if all elements are unique, we just return false. So here I draw out an example, and looking at our array, we see 1, 2, 3, 1. So we should return true because we have two duplicate ones. However, in example 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. All elements within this array are all unique, so we should return false. So when solving this problem, the most straightforward approach is using the brute force method. We can iterate by comparing each element by using two nested for loops. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have an I and we're going to have a j. Our I and j are going to be representing our two nested for loops. So we're going to be doing a comparison of each of our I and j pointers. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to see if nums I, which right now in this position it is 1. We're going to check if nums I is equal to nums j. So in this example, 1 is not equal to 2. So what's going to happen is that we're going to be moving our j pointer to the next position. And we're going to be doing the comparison again. Is nums I, which is 1, is it equal to nums j, which is 3? No, it's not. So we're going to be moving our j pointer to the next position. And you can obviously see that this is more of a rinse and repeat method, but now that we're already in this position, is nums I, which is 1, is it equal to nums j, which is 1 as well? It's gonna be true because they're both the exact same number, so we have a duplicate. While this approach while this approach does help, the only downside of it is that its time complexity is going to be big O of n over 2. What do I mean by that? So imagine if we had, let's say, maybe 50 or maybe 100 elements within this nums array. We're going to have to be doing a comparison for each iteration. So we're going to be doing a comparison from nums I if it's equal to nums j. So imagine doing that same process over and over again until we get to the 100th element. That's going to make our code run really slow. And it's probably not the best way to run the code. But is there another way in which we can solve this problem by only iterating through the array only once? And there is in fact another way, and I'm going to show you that right now. So instead of using a nested for loop, we can just iterate through the array once. And while we're doing that, we're going to be creating what's called a hash set. And while we're iterating through the array, we're going to be adding every single element within our hash set. Once we've already done the iteration within the nums array, we're going to be doing a comparison to see if an element that we added previously is already within the hash set. So for example, we've already added 1 to the hash set. We've already added 2 to the hash set. We already added 3 to the hash set. We want to add the second one onto the hash set. We're going to compare, is there already a 1 within the hash set? There is a 1 in the hash set. So in this case, we just return true. And the good news about this solution is that we were able to do this once. We were able to iterate through the array once, in which this makes it much more efficient. And the good news about this solution is that the time and space complexity for this is going to be big O of n, so linear time. And I don't think I've mentioned this either, but when we're using a hash set, the hash set will be big O of 1, which is constant time for its lookup time. So that makes it a lot more better when we're solving this problem. So now that we've already gone through that, let's code up the solution. So first we're going to be storing our hash set. We're going to call it hash set over here. Next, we're going to be creating a for loop which will be in which we'll be just be iterating through our array once. And for each iteration, we're going to be adding a num into our hash set. So that means hash set dot add our num, which our num is basically our elements. And if the hash set's already been added, then we're going to return true. So let's say hash set dot has num, we will return true. Otherwise, if there are no repeats and the elements are unique, we will just return false. So let's run this. So our test cases are acceptable, so that means we're good. Let's just submit this now. So looking at this, we see that this is a much more efficient solution. Both the time and space complexities are running in big O of n. And if this video was helpful for you guys, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.